Good afternoon, and thank you for coming today. Today, we are meeting to discuss Thomas's IEP, his Individualized Education Plan for the upcoming year. We want to review any goals that are put in place and accommodations and make sure that they're still valid and applicable, and see if we want to maybe update those, change those, put more challenges to Thomas. The first thing I'd like to do is take a few minutes and hand each of you an agenda. Can you pass those around for me? Thank you. And the beginning line on our agenda is we are going to introduce committee members. Let me see. I don't want to mess up on anybody's name. Let me double check my list. I am the special ed teacher, Tammy Haggerty. It's nice to meet all of you. This is June Smith. This is Thomas's mother. This is Ward Smith, Thomas's father. Thank you both for coming to the meeting today. This is one of Thomas's general education teachers, Mr. Crowley. And this is our administrator, Mr. Lund. Thank you for coming today. And in a moment, we should be joined by our speech pathologist that Thomas gets to see weekly. Oh, here she is now. Come on in, Margot. Margot, I was just introducing everybody. I'm going to catch you up to speed. This is Thomas's mother, June Smith, his father, Ward Smith. You know Mr. Crowley. You know me. And everyone, this is Margot. This is Thomas's speech language pathologist that he gets to see weekly. Yeah, there's a chair. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over, let's see. We're going to check everything for accuracy. So Mr. and Miss Smith, if I can have you look at your address and your phone numbers and just verify that that information is still correct so we can keep it updated in our system, and when I'm sending you out prior notices for meetings, I can make sure they're going to the right address. Thank you. Okay. A summary of the services that Thomas is currently receiving is he has 250 minutes a week for reading. He's allotted 250 minutes per week for his writing, 250 minutes per week for his math, 195, this might be a little confusing, so bear with me. He gets 195 minutes per week in the general education setting, which is in Mr. Crowley's class, to work with his behavior, to strive towards reaching his behavior goals. And in addition to that, he gets another 293 minutes in the special education setting in my classroom, where we work on his behavior as well, staying seated, keeping his hands to himself, which he's doing a fabulous job on. And I appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you. And then one other service that he gets is 292 minutes per week of adaptive education, working on his adaptive goals. And then Margot, he gets to go to speech 30 minutes per week. Margot will come and pick him up. He goes out of the class and gets to work one-on-one with Margot on his speech. Are there any questions at this point? Okay, I'm going to continue. Okay. Thomas was referred. He has been in our special education program and receiving services since he was in the first grade. Now going into, currently in the 8th grade and getting ready to transition into the 9th grade, Thomas will continue receiving these services. There are no special health problems for Thomas that we really need to take into consideration health-wise. And the only other agency that he's been referred to would just be that of getting special help with his speech delay. Okay. Mr. and Miss Smith, is there anything that you would like to share with us about how Thomas is doing at home, how you feel he's working towards his goals that we had in place from our last IEP last year. Is there anything you want to share with us? Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith says that Thomas seems to be doing well at home. He does enjoy reading small chapter books if he's prompted. Not something he strives for on his own, but he will sit and read now, which is a great improvement from even last year. He's definitely working towards his reading objectives. We'll probably definitely have to revisit those and make some updates. Okay. And Thomas receives special education services under the category of other health impairments, basically cognitive delays. His current levels of performance, give me just a moment while I flip to those. And I will be sending a current copy of our current IEP that we agree home. So you will have one for yourself. Okay, the first goal I'd like to address is Thomas's reading. We briefly touched on that a moment ago. His current level is, Thomas is able to currently answer comprehension questions after reading with 30% accuracy. Our measurable goal is that he will demonstrate his ability to answer comprehension questions, increasing from 30% up to his 80% over 4 consecutive trials. And we're going to try to work with Thomas to get him to reach these goals by June 17th of this year. So right before school is out, by the end of the year, we'd like to see him go from 30% to 80% accuracy on his comprehension goals. Does that sound okay? Are you in agreement? And any additional reading that you can do at home with Thomas, and then just asking him questions about maybe every page, pick a question, and just see if he's comprehending what he's reading and not just going through the exercise of reading the words. Because there's a difference between being able to read and then comprehension. And comprehension is what we really want Thomas to focus on. And my method for evaluating Thomas is basically through observations. He can demonstrate his performance and how well he's doing. So that is where we would like to see his reading goal. Okay. And our next goal that we're going to discuss for Thomas is his writing goal. He's currently able to write words in the sentence form, but they're not very understandable. Thomas, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but they kind of ramble on, and we need to narrow them down so they're making sense to the person that's reading your sentences. So we're going to work on spelling words correctly at the second grade level and making our sentences make sense. So our goal for that is right now we're going to try to increase your accuracy from 60% to 90%. And again, that's going to be over 4 consecutive trials. So 4 times in a row, we're going to try to work on having you write sentences that make sense with the correct spelling up to 90% from 60% over 4 times. Does that make sense? Make sure everybody's on board for that. Okay. That makes sense, Thomas? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And our method again for measuring Thomas's progress is through observation and his written performance. He'll demonstrate his progression, and we'll be able to measure his growth from the 60 to the 90% at the second grade level. Yes. Does anybody want to add anything to that? And again, parents, if you want to just a simple, maybe have him write a sentence each evening about something that happened during his day and help him spell the words correctly and form the sentence so that it makes a good rhythmic sentence and it makes sense to the person reading it. That would help Thomas immensely towards reaching his goal. Math, that will be our next subject. Thomas qualifies for special education in the area of math. Right now, we are, because it's a life skill and Thomas is in the 8th grade, being able to count money, because that's a real life experience and something that Thomas is going to have to work on his entire life. It's something that we use every time we, go to the coffee stand, the grocery store, need new tennis shoes. So it's something that Thomas is going to use that will improve his life skills. So we're going to work on money. Right now, Thomas is currently able to count coins. We're sticking with dimes and pennies under 50 cents. And right now he's doing pretty good with that. He's getting 60% accuracy using pennies, nickels, and dimes for amounts under $1 with 10% accuracy. So we're going to try to up the game on how high he can count and really getting him to understand that 59 cents is not 5 dimes and 9 pennies. We want him to switch out 5 of those pennies and include a nickel. So we're talking nickels, dimes, and pennies. So we want him to use the least amount of coins to get where he's at, to the coin cents that he needs. So, and again, we are going to observe that as we're working with him each day on his money. So teacher observations, the paras will be observing him, and he'll be performing that by showing us. So we'll be able to measure his growth and see how well he's doing towards making that move from pennies to including nickels, going from just 2 coins, dimes, and pennies to bumping that up and getting us towards dimes, nickels, and pennies. So the first goal I have for that is that he's going to be able to count pennies, nickels, and dimes with amounts under $1, increasing his accuracy from 10% to 80% over 4 consecutive trials. So Thomas, what that means is 4 times in a row, as we're doing our money sheet, we're going to try to get you from 10% accuracy up to 80% accuracy. And I know that's a huge number bump, but I think as soon as you really get the hang of incorporating that nickel coin to make up the full amount that you're getting towards, I think that's going to be a pretty fast progression for you. And if we need to amend this goal, we certainly can. But I'd like to challenge you to that because I think you're capable of that. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if you have pocket change at night and you're emptying your pockets, have Thomas count that for you. Let him get used to interacting with those different coins and adding that for you. Even having a bowl of change and putting out, grabbing a small handful of coins and just having him count that back to you will definitely improve his percentage and help him achieve his goal if he's able to work on it at home and at school, and if that fits into your schedule. We're going to move right along, you guys. I know everybody's got places to go. Our next goal area is behavior. And for Thomas, he's currently able to follow the school rules. We're working towards decreasing his needs for prompting for him to keep his hands to himself and stay seated. We're trying to work that down to 1 prompt per class period. And depending on the day, we're able to meet those goals. Some days are better than others. The goal that we're trying to get to is that Thomas will keep his hands to himself throughout the day with only needing 1 reminder per class period increasing his accuracy from 0 to 5 days over 4 consecutive weeks. So these are not daily. It's a daily goal for you, Thomas. But over the course of 4 weeks, we're going to try to really work at you and give you nonverbal prompts to have you stay seated and to help you contain your movements so you're not reaching out and touching your classmates. I know you can do it. I've seen you do it before. Yes, I know they do too. Yes. Okay. He has gotten better, June. Yes. June's just telling me that they do talk with him each morning before he gets on the bus, reminding him to behave and keep his hands to himself and try to stay seated. Okay. And his adaptive goals. We're going to move over to your adaptive goals, Thomas. Time is what we're really working on for Thomas. As far as his adaptive goal, we want him to be able to tell time to the quarter hour with 30% accuracy and to the half hour with 30% accuracy. We work on the clock all the time. You can see up on the wall around the clock, every 5 minutes we have a 5, then it goes 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way around to 60 to help support our students as they're learning to tell time with their minutes. Right now, something that we're really trying to help Thomas with is identifying that the shorthand is the hour, the longhand is the minutes. Because he's kind of got the hang of counting the minutes, but a lot of times it's to the hour where the hour is pointing and vice versa for the minutes. So we're really trying to get that concrete in there that the shorthand is hours, the longhand is minutes. And then he's able to go around with pretty good accuracy, about 30% accuracy as far as getting his minutes. So that is something that we are going to try to get up to 80%, Thomas, over 4 consecutive tries. So, and then we can look at revamping that goal at a later date. But right now we're going to try to get to telling time on the half hour from 30% accuracy to 80% accuracy over 4 consecutive trials, as well as the quarter hour. Okay. And parents, that's something, I know a lot of people have digital. We use digital clocks on our phones, on our laptops. But if you have a normal phone, ask him every once in a while to tell you what time it is, and go over that with him so he's getting that reinforcement at home as well. It would be very helpful. Thomas, we were looking at, does Thomas need end of year services? And at this point, during the whole COVID thing, we noticed Thomas did not lose and he did not regress with his information any more than any general education student would. It took, a few days to concrete back in where he left off, and he was able to pick right back up. So at this point, our team is not recommending end of school year services to Thomas. We don't think summer school is something that he is going to need. We think he's going to retain what he's learned over the summer months. Okay, what is next? Okay, we did that. Transition. Thomas is in the 8th grade right now. And with his current levels and his progress he's making, we are suggesting that he's ready to transfer up to the high school level, into the DI program at the high school level. You're going to be a high schooler, Thomas. Are you ready for this, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, having a high schooler? Yeah. kind of crazy. So we will, at the end towards this year, we'll take Thomas and the other 8th graders over to the high school that they'll be going to. We'll introduce them to the teachers and some of the students in the DI department, the design instruction department. So he can have a mental image and actually be able to talk and meet some of the teachers he's going to be working with next year, so that maybe it relieves some of his anxiety over the summer of going to a new school, meeting new teachers, meeting new students. We want to make that an easy transition for him. So Thomas, we're right there with you, and super great people at the school you're going to go to. So don't worry. I wouldn't send you somewhere where I didn't think you were going to be successful. And I think you're ready for this move. So I and the IEP team recommend you transitioning to high school. Dates of initiation and duration of services to be provided. So this IEP will be in effect for the next year as soon as we all sign and approve it. And then next year, unless we need to take another look or somebody wants to have a re-evaluation earlier, this will be when we sign this IEP today. That will be when services begin, and we'll start working towards our newest goals. So who is going to implement certain parts of this plan? Well, certainly Miss Margot will work on the speech language pathology with Thomas, meeting his new goals. Mr. Crowley will do his adaptive behavior goals in the general education setting. And here in our design instruction classroom, we will be working on the reading, the writing, the math, and the other behavior goals for Thomas. For the most extent, Thomas will spend most of his time in the designed instruction classroom as his least restrictive environment while going out into the general education classroom with Mr. Crowley as his general education teacher. So at this point, I'm going to have everybody sign the IEP. I'm going to go ahead and sign off on myself. And I'm going to pass this around the table for signing. Yes. Oh, here's that. Thank you, June. Okay. Yes, if I can have you and Ward Smith both sign, that would be great. Thomas doesn't need to sign in the 8th grade. Thomas, if you want to sign it, you can put a signature underneath your parents. That would be fine. Yes, you're present. Okay. Thank you. Okay, with that, I'm going to make copies of the IEP and get everybody a copy so we're all on the same page. We've all got the same forms on file. And I just would really like to take a moment to thank each one of you for coming and making the time. And Thomas, I really would like to thank you for putting in all the hard work that you're putting in to reach these goals. I'm really proud of the progress you're making. He's doing a fabulous job, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You've raised a wonderful boy. Thank you. And if anybody has any questions, you know where to reach me. You can call me anytime, leave a message. You've got my email address. You can even text message me and I will reply as soon as I can. Thank you very much and have a wonderful afternoon.